emergency! It's a kerfuffle! A catastrophe! An utter calamity!
Fromage? What's going on?
Ah, Kirika, there you are! It's Rinna, madame! Rinna is in horrible, horrible danger! Furthermore... Oh, a new face! Hello, friend. My name is Fromage, an unending pleasure, to be sure.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Introductions when there isn't an emergency. What happened to Rinna?
Who's Rinna?
One of the Dragoneers who stays at the Seagull. She's not just a colleague, though. She's our friend.
Is she another Diva Magica?
Huh? Oh, no. Kirika's the one who doubles up. She's the only Dragoneer diva.
Let me think now. Rinna. She's supposed to be investigating those reports of suspicious Imperial activity, right?
Oh, never mind investigating. She found an entire Imperial detachment. Even as we speak, she's fighting for her life.
So you came to get us. Well done, Fromage. Now show us the way.
At once, my lady. Quickly now, quickly. On me, everyone. Elmore Greatwood isn't far.
Hey guys, what's up? My name is Cress, and I'm doing another first impressions video. I know it's been a little bit since I've done one of these or a review, but I did just recently pick up a game, and I've been playing a little bit and decided to do one. So this review is based off the game Shining Resonance Refrain, which I think is a remake of the original game. I don't think it's an actual new one, at least that's what I think that I read. It features some like new added story, I think, as well as some new features or something along those lines. I think it was released on all consoles. If not, it was at least released on PC, PS4, and the Switch. And I'm currently playing on the PS4 version, so the gameplay that you're seeing here is of the PS4 version, and any experiences that I talk about are going to be related to the PS4. Obviously, there's not going to be version exclusive stuff, but there might be performance issues that relate to certain versions of the game that I might talk about, so that just gives you a little bit of a heads up. But I'm going to start this one out saying that, yes, I am playing on English dub. This is a dual audio, so there is Japanese and there is English dub. And I picked English because I'm used to Koei Tecmo games, and all of their games tend to just be Japanese sub, or not Japanese, Japanese dub and English sub, so I have to read everything. And it does get a little tiring to always have to do that all the time, so when I do get the chance, and I hoped it would be fine, I did go for the English. That, you know, in my experience, these types of games are really, it's going to be 50-50, either it's good or it's bad. But this one, it's actually like, it's okay. So I think in terms of voice acting, there's many categories. There is the We Got Our Friends and Family category, because we're indie dev, we can't afford to hire actual voice actors, so we just get whoever we can. Then there's the newbies, the ones who are actually aspiring voice actors. They're just starting out, getting their first couple roles in. Then there's the experienced ones. They're not, you know, they still have a lot of work to do, but you can tell that they've been doing at least a couple games, and they're kind of getting the hang of their style and what they want to do. Then you have the great voice actors, the ones that know their style, the ones that have lots of experience, but they're still not quite there. Then you have like the A-listers, the ones that you hear in a lot of games, the ones that companies favor and use from game to game to game to game, which happens a lot in franchises. And this game kind of borders on the middle one, where they've had their work. There's a couple voice actors that I recognize and hear from other games, and there's a couple of new ones that I haven't heard. And they're okay. They're not great, but they're not terrible. I can definitely see the experience with them. And obviously I'm not a voice actor, but I know how hard it is, especially when you're just starting out. You have to get into the role of this other character, and you have to kind of, you know, make it sound natural, which can be very hard. I'm not good at it, and some people are really good at it from the get-go, and others aren't. And then it also depends on your voice as well too. Like, some people just have a really good voice for these types of characters, and then they can also do many different kinds of voices. And then some people just don't have that type of voice that people want to kind of hear. So, or they have that type of voice that they can't really change it to fit other characters, and so they can only play certain types of characters. But yeah, this game has really interesting voice actors. They're kind of unique ones, so they're not ones that are A-listers. They're not ones that can play multiple different roles. The voice actors that I recognize so far, all their roles are kind of the same that I've experienced. But they really aren't all that bad. So that's one plus that I have so far about the game. And I will say that I do have more plus than negative so far. Obviously this isn't first impression, so I haven't finished the game. I still even have a menu option that I haven't unlocked yet, but I have played more than an hour of the game so far, so. So what do I think? What do I think? Well, obviously the world itself. I think the world is really pretty. I think the art style is decent. There's some things with the models that I don't particularly like. Specifically the character Sonia. I think out of all the characters I met so far, she's the only one that I kind of have a little bit of gripe with in terms of her model, and a little bit her character design too, but compared to some other games, the character design isn't that bad, and there are other outfits that you can give the characters to, or at least I got the DLC outfits. I did pre-order the game, so I got some DLC outfits, which I'll talk about those a little bit more later, but kind of in my cons list so far, but we'll get to that. But the characters themselves, so far, I know there's more party members than what I do have. I haven't met them, so the three that I do have, I think they're really unique and different from each other in terms of fighting style. And they're okay characters. I think the main character is probably my favorite so far because he seems to have the most character flaws at the moment. He seems the most human, and that there is a lot of improvement, but he definitely is willing to get there. Whereas there's Sonia and Kirika, and I love Kirika. I love her to death, by the way. But their characters seem already kind of fleshed out, or like their flaws aren't really something that I can see being improved upon at all in the story, or necessarily needing to be improved. Obviously, like, the characters need to get stronger in battle and all that kind of stuff, but in terms of like their personalities and growing as a character themselves, they just aren't at that level that the main character is. In terms of, like, I can definitely see him going somewhere, and these characters right now, they're a little bit on the boring side for me. And same goes for all the NPCs, like the main NPCs. They're kind of the same way. They're all just kind of like already fleshed out. They're not going to improve. They're just kind of stagnant and boring, which is a little, or, you know, how should I say, they're flat. They're missing a lot in terms of what they could be. So yeah, they have similar backstories as well too, or they don't have a backstory. Obviously, like, I don't know all their backstories fully yet, being so early in the game. But it's just not where I think they should be at the start of the game. So yeah, the characters I find a little bit flat, other than the main character. And I feel really bad for the main character, you guys. Like, he doesn't really stand up for himself, and when he tries to, the NPCs and then Sonia specifically all talk over him and like don't let him finish. There are times where they're asking him things and they're trying to get an answer out of him, and he's getting ready to explain, and they're like, "You're taking too goddamn long. You know, why aren't you answering?" And then they're just like, "Oh, forget it, just forget it, you know, we should do this another time." And he's just like standing there going like, "I was just about to explain, but you didn't wait 2 seconds to let me do that." Like, they're all very pushy onto him, which I don't really like that, because I just want him to be able to talk, because like, he seemed ready to talk, give some backstory, you know, or actually defend himself. And they were just like, nope, not gonna bother, but we love you, we're like your best friends here, alright? They're like those very pushy best friends that don't actually care about your opinion, but they pretend to. Yeah, that's what I'm getting from these guys right now. But yeah, the character designs, they're alright. The voice actors so far are fitting the characters, at least, that we do have. So that's a plus to me. And I think so far that's all really I can talk about. Story-wise, I haven't really gotten too far into the story. Obviously, it seems like it's going to be interesting. However, it hasn't really kept my attention all that much. And by that I mean usually when I start up a new game, I like don't want to put it down. I want to continuously play it, you know, even if I'm not, sometimes even when I'm not enjoying it, or like I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it yet, I still am like, I want to play it, I want to play it, I want to play it. Just because I want to get further into the game. And this one I can put it down super easily. I think I'm just kind of bored a little bit. And it's weird because I enjoy the gameplay. I haven't talked about that yet, but I enjoy the gameplay. And overall, you know, I'm not hating the game, and it's a lot better than some of my other games I've had first experiences with. But it's just kind of not keeping my attention at the moment. But I should probably actually talk about the gameplay. I totally forgot. I had it written down, but whatever. I actually really like the gameplay. It is a real-time battle system, which I absolutely love. If you don't know, I'm not the biggest fan of turn-based. There are so many turn-based RPGs that I really, really love when they throw in a real-time battle system and they actually get it right. I'm not as picky with real-time, but I just want it to be smooth, and this is smooth. I like how it works out. I like how the skills and abilities are with the characters. Again, how they feel in combat as well too is different. And I like the combat menus as well. I think they're really great. So I'm really appreciative of the gameplay, and you kind of, it's not open world, but it feels like it is, at least when you fight. You do get, I guess it's kind of in a sense how Tales of Berseria is a little bit, or Systeria. You fight where you're at, but you do get put into your own boundaries, so like nothing else can attack you while you're fighting this, but you aren't like pulled off into another dimension to fight. So I like that aspect of it as well too. But there is some issues with it. This could just be the PS4 version, I don't know. But I guess it's minor spoilers here. Yuma, the main character, he can turn into a dragon, and you think, oh, that'd be super cool gameplay, right? Like, yeah, there's this he has a really cool feature, by the way, in terms of how you balance, because as a dragon, he is a lot more stronger. But you can't stay in dragon form all the time, otherwise he goes berserk, which I think is a really cool idea. It keeps you from staying in this state for too long, because of how much stronger he is. However, my only gripe with it is he gets really slow. I don't know if it's lagging, I don't know if he's meant to be the slowest dragon known to man, but his walking speed is just deathly slow. It's snail pace. It is awful. I don't really like fighting from a range, or if they're right next to me, I'm okay, you know. He can breathe fire, so that's an advantage, but if I have to go chase down an enemy, that's not happening, alright? I'm not reaching that enemy by the time I need to get out of dragon mode before I go berserk. Which, by the way, you go berserk once your MP reaches a certain level, and I might show it off in the gameplay, I don't know yet. And then you kind of just have to play as somebody else, and when he does go berserk, he can attack his allies as well too, so you have to be careful. Again, cool feature. He's just slow as shit, and it's not fun to play as for me, so I don't know why. And also sometimes even getting into battles is a little bit laggy. I have to get like really up close to them. Not all the time, obviously, but there's a lot of times where I just have to get up close and personal to the monsters for the fight to actually start, which really sucks. But what can you do? At least it doesn't happen all the time, but it is something, and it could, again, just be the PS4 version, I don't know, or it could be situational as well, that I don't know, but it doesn't bug me too much in the long run. The main thing that does bug me about this game is the menus. Now, it's not Secret of Mana bad, like, that is horrendous. I'm sorry, the remake, Secret of Mana has the worst menus I've ever played in a game in my entire life. And I've played a lot of games from a lot of different consoles, from a lot of different genres, but that menu is god-awful. And this one is prettily designed. It's a standard JRPG menu, however the layout of it and where you find certain things is a little bit annoying to me. So your quests are not in the main menu where you pause, you go into the menu, you search your requests. It's the R or Z button, or the right, you know, R2 or whatever. And while it's cool, you can quickly pull it up and pull it away as well too. it doesn't tell you that. Like, the game doesn't tell you that's how you find your quest. I had to look it up because I was like, well, where's the quest option? I don't know where I can find my quests. I'm not going to remember them. Thank God you don't have to talk to an NPC to know what your quest lists are, but it just doesn't tell you that's where you find your quests, and I wish it did, or I wish it was just in the main menu itself. And I have the main menu up for you guys here, and honestly, there are a lot of options, and they don't need to be that way, such as like stats, item, force, aspect. Like, a lot of that can be put into its own category. Party doesn't even need to be one. It is just organizing your party. That could just be a button. The Tales of series does that. It's just a button or a motion. You go into your party and you can move them around. It doesn't take up a whole slot space. That could be gotten rid of. Status, that could be like a standard one. Doesn't need to be combined. But there's a lot of the parts and items that could just be in equipment category, and the force be in the equipment, or the aspects even being in equipment. Because in the items, that's where you equip the DLC. However, you have to go out of the menu to look at the outfit you just equipped, and if you don't have the party with you, you have to go find the members to see what outfits you just equipped on them, because you can equip them when they're not technically in your party, but they are. Or you're just out of luck and you have to go fight something. You have to go out of town or whatever. And you have to consistently go in and back and out of the menus. And another example, all the Tales of series, or any other JRPG, you have an equipment menu option where you go in, you can change their weapon, which this game you don't really do that. That's where like the aspects come in, or the force comes in. You change their skills or whatever. Or you change kind of their titles, stuff like that. But just an equipment category, and then you can change the DLC and you can view the model right there, and you can just consistently change which outfit you want, and it doesn't take you 5 million years just to see the next goddamn outfit, alright? That's boring. The bond diagram definitely needs its own category, same with the options and the dictionary. I just think that the menu could have been shrinked in terms of the amount of slots there are, or they could have added more useful slots and combined some of them. I just don't like the unnecessary access when it's so easy. Other games do the equipment tab so much better than this one does. So I wish that was a little bit better. But really, that's my gripe with it. I don't have too many like things that I hate about it, honestly, other than those little things. And it's kind of just me nitpicking. There's no major issue. There's no like game-breaking issue that just drives me up the wall. I can compare it to my first impressions that I did of God Wars, Holy Pass, something like God Wars, where it was an old style strategy RPG game, but it was the really, really slow kind, and that was actually like one of the reasons why I don't play it anymore, is because just to me, I just can't stand how slow that is. I don't like it when the gameplay is incredibly slow. That's just how I am. So this game is just kind of average so far. I don't hate it. I am enjoying it when I do pick it up and I play it. It's one of those games that you can put down at the end of the day. You don't need to know what happens next. I at least don't get too focused on it, but I am wanting to explore more and see what happens in the end. I totally want to see where the story goes. I actually want to see the other characters being flushed out a little bit more in the future, so they can actually be characters and they're not just these bland, flat characters. I love Kirika, but she's kind of like that standard, I'm really smart, but I'm also like, I follow your every word, so I don't really have an opinion of my own type of character. But she's also like highly regarded, and so she doesn't have any flaws. So I'm just wanting them to be flushed out. There's millions of chances in the future for that to happen. I don't know how long this game is, but hopefully it does give me a little bit. There's a lot of quests, so I like to do them all. The quests are the standard quests of just, get this many items, defeat these many enemies, go collect this thing for me, and I'll give you this great reward, and that kind of stuff. So it's just a very standard game so far, but I think it's worth it at the moment, so it's worth my pre-order. I'm not regretting pre-ordering it or anything, and I really do hope it's going to continuously get better from here. So that's my first impressions on this game so far. I'm excited about it in a way, in its own way, and the only things I don't like is just nitpicking. So I would recommend checking out a little bit or checking out the gameplay. The gameplay is really fun and unique as well, especially if you love real-time battle systems. You don't get too many of those. Like we don't get too many of those. Only certain series have that, and most spin-off or most like new IPs tend to go for the turn-based, you know. A lot of the JRPGs go for turn-based. So if you're like me and you love the real-time battle system a hell of a lot more than turn-based, definitely check this out for sure. Like, I never want to immediately say no to a game that has the real-time system that is also 3D. 2D kind of bugs me just a wee bit. But do give it a little glance, other than my gameplay here, or if you weren't even watching the gameplay and you were just listening to me talk, I don't know. There is a demo out. I don't know if it's limited only. I haven't played it myself. I kind of didn't want to be spoiled on anything, you know, since I was for sure pre-ordering it. But definitely check the demo out for yourself. There was one on PS4, and I was also on Switch as well too, I believe. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this first impressions, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!